Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple.
In a recent video, we looked at how promising Ten Hag's tactics looked in possession. However, in the 2-2 draw against the Villains, they looked vulnerable defensively. So what exactly was the problem defensively? Let's take a look. And this is how both managers chose to line up for this match, courtesy of the OneFootball app. OneFootball is the best football app around, and I'm happy to say they're sponsoring this video, and you can download it for free through the link in the description below. It will give you formations like this for every league you choose to follow, but you can also follow individual players. You can get stats for both, news, and so much more. And by downloading through the link below, you get the best free football app around and help to support the channel.
One thing they did look good doing was their deep defensive shape, as they had a solid 4-1-4-1 with limited space between the lines, making it difficult for Villa to find any space. This was particularly important because Villa were looking to achieve a midfield overload, especially with Coutinho drifting around between the lines. The compactness of United was very crucial, and they did this very well. Interestingly, Martial was often isolated high up the pitch intentionally to make it much more difficult for Villa to pin them in, and it also gave United the chance of a quick transition if they did win the ball, as they could play the first time ball into Martial running in behind, and he had plenty of support from Sancho and Rashford looking to join him. United had a fairly effective shape, as you can see, that being a 4-1-4-1, with Fred looking to patrol the regions between the lines, so this made Villa less effective. Also note that Martial is high up as he is ready for a transition. But Ten Hag is renowned for his pressing, but I think that was perhaps their biggest weakness in this match defensively. From the goal kick, Villa would often split their centre-backs wider of the box, and Martial tended to be drawn into the press without that much support in behind him. So instead of the centre midfielders looking to push up, which they would be reluctant to do because Villa had the numerical advantage in the midfield, it was often Sancho and Rashford who would then be drawn to the wide centre-backs. However, they weren't quick enough with the press, so often the centre-back had settled possession when they received the ball. This would now mean there was a free man down the outside who could receive, and at times, Fernandes and Van de Beek could be effective at looking to cover that wide man, but more often than not, it led to Luke Shaw or Dalot being drawn up and out of position to press the fullback, whilst there was plenty of space for Villa to attack, which led to many dangerous situations. So this was a common problem with United's press. Villa would be in a back three, whilst Martial is drawn into pressing the keeper without much support. Rashford is slow to press, meaning that there's an easy pass out to the centre-back. By the time Rashford eventually arrives, the centre-back has the ball under control and he has an easy pass into Cash. Luke Shaw then looks to press Cash, but again everybody's arriving late to the press, so there's plenty of space to be exposed behind Shaw. To his credit, Fernandes was looking to cover Shaw, but the chip ball means that McGinn potentially has space to exploit higher up the pitch. But when pressing in open play, United tried to shepherd Villa to one side of the pitch or the other to make it easier for them to be compact around the ball and thus be more effective in their pressing. This was often dictated by where Martial went, so if you cut out this passing lane, Villa would be forced to go wide. Or if you wanted to get Villa to come this way, he could press the centre-back on his outside and the ball would travel this way. And once the play was directed to one side of the pitch, United would look to press, with Rashford covering a fullback and often one of the centre midfielders pushing higher up to cover a pivot. This could generally be an effective shape, as they have many numbers around the ball and can pick up, and this could distort, and this could make Villa's build-up play much less effective. However, Villa had 4 in midfield compared to United's 3, so that meant if they played quickly, they could potentially find a man free in the midfield and then push higher up the pitch. How Ten Hag looked to compensate for this was by drawing Sancho into the spare midfielder. But again, the problem was the Villa midfielder was often in controlled possession by the time that Sancho arrived to press. As a result, there would be an easy pass open on the outside, meaning that Villa could now look to attack United. So this was very effective for Villa and pressed at one side if they could escape the press here and bring it to the other side. So in this situation, United were pressing and committed plenty of numbers to one side of the pitch. This includes Sancho, who had to come from out to in order to cover the extra midfielder that Villa had. Now they're able to break the press and can find Digne in acres of space. And it should also be noted in these situations that United centre-backs would back up the press, so often you see Lindelof or Maguire, if the player was on this side, right up against the dropping forward, but this would leave space for the secondary forward to potentially receive balls over the top. As a result, Villa could often look dangerous when attacking, and I would say United's defensive structure and pressing structure wasn't the best.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you might enjoy the content available on my Patreon. Not only does Patreon help to support the continued production of content, as I am a one-man team, but it also gives you early access to videos that will come on the channel. You'll also get exclusive videos, get to vote on polls, and so much more. And it's cheaper than ever, no longer having a tier system, so everyone on the Patreon gets access to all the content. So head over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple to check it out.
But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.